Hey, Andy here from buildahottub.com. In this video, I'm going to talk about some cold plunge design considerations. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so if you've found this video, you're probably thinking, well, why is the hot tub guy talking about cold plunge pools? Well, believe it or not, I've been asked several times now to actually design cold plunge pools. And when I say cold plunge, these are chilled down, generally for cold therapy. And I've actually designed quite a few for customers. So I thought I would make this video. If you're thinking about building your own cold plunge pool, then I'll cover some of the design considerations that you need to think about. Before we get going, always a great opportunity to say please do subscribe to the channel. Just gives me loads of motivation to keep making these videos. I make 2 of these long form videos every single week, a whole bunch of shorts, and everything on this channel focuses around hot tubs, plunge pools, parts, and pretty much everything in between. So let's dive in and take a look at some design considerations for a cold plunge pool. So the first thing that I'm going to say is that when I'm talking about a cold plunge pool, I'm talking more of an in-ground kind of tub rather than a bath or an ice bath. There's loads of other videos out there on YouTube that cover this kind of a cold therapy bath or ice bath. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a more permanent in-ground solution that we're going to chill down, and you will use it for cold therapy. So what are the design considerations? Well, firstly, it has to be the size. And the size is really important because the size obviously dictates the volume of water. Now, the volume of water is going to dictate the chiller that you're going to need to get that down to temperature. And it's really important because if you're looking to chill down a huge tub, it's going to take a huge chiller, and the chances are you might not actually get to the low temperatures that you're looking for. So my advice is try and keep the actual volume of the cold plunge to under 500 gallons. The reason I say 500 gallons is because I actually have a large chiller. I'll put a link to it underneath this video that will chill down anything up to around 500 gallons. Any more than that, then you're going to struggle to find something that's going to be able to cope with that kind of a volume. Now, the plumbing layouts for a cold plunge are pretty straightforward. You're going to have 2 inward suction, you're going to have a filter, a pump, a chiller, and you're going to have 2 cold water returns. The reason that you have 2 suction is for safety, and likewise with the returns as well. And your plumbing, when it's broken down, is going to look something like behind me. Again, very, very simple. I'm giving you the kind of layout here that you're going to need for your cold plunge. And the consideration here is, where are you going to put all of this kit? Now, with the chillers, they do need airflow around them. Most of the chillers are not IP rated, so if you're going to put them outdoors, then you're going to need to cover them and protect them from the elements. And also remember, with a chiller, if you are in a really hot environment, then it's going to work harder. It's going to have to work harder to get that water down to temperature. So if you can, you need a way of moving the hot air away from the chiller, so it's got to be ventilated. Maybe put some kind of fans in your control room for your cold plunge, because if the chiller is surrounded by hot air, it's going to make it much, much harder to actually chill down that water. So it's definitely something to consider. If you're putting these indoors and you've put them in a room with AC, that's absolutely perfect, because it will allow you to remove the heat that the unit is going to extract from the water. It's going to put it out through the fan into the room, and if the temperature in the room continues to increase, it's going to make it harder and harder for that cold chiller to actually chill down the water. So ventilation is really important, but also not having too much temperature around your chiller. The pump and the filtration side of things are pretty straightforward. You can either have them running continuously or you can put them on a simple timer that will kick in and move the water around and filter it. In terms of the chemicals that you're going to use, you will treat it very much like you would treat a swimming pool, and you can go for the usual suspects like chlorine or bromine. You could look at a UV system or a saltwater system if you wanted to move away from being sort of truly reliant on chemicals. Now, it may seem odd, but do you actually want any jets? So the design behind me here is one that I've done for a customer, and he actually wanted cold therapy jets. So kind of like a hot tub, but a cold tub. And he wanted those jets to be in a standing area so he could move around and have them on his back, and it's kind of a cool thing to have. So if you are looking for something like that, get in touch. I can definitely help you. Most importantly, with your structure, you need to insulate it. Now, it might seem a little bit odd that you're going to insulate something that you're trying to keep cool, but it works in exactly the same way. If the heat is able to enter your cold plunge, then it's going to warm up your water. So the heat from the ground, for example, you're going to want to insulate to stop that or reduce that actually happening. And that will help you get those temperatures of your cold plunge down to the levels that you're looking for. Also, you're going to want to have a cover. So just like a hot tub where you're trying to keep the heat in, with a cold plunge, you're trying to keep the heat out. So having a hot tub style cover actually helps to maintain the coldness of the water. Construction materials, well, you've got your usual suspects there. You can use block, you can use ICF, you can concrete pour. All of these work perfectly well. The methods that you're going to use there are very similar to the methods that you would use to build either a swimming pool or a hot tub. And the finishes for the surface, well, obviously tiles. You can also use pool paints if that's the way that you want to go. The finishes, just like the building materials, you treat exactly the same as you would for a hot tub or a plunge pool. So as you can see, this is why I've ended up designing some of these for customers, because the processes, the materials, certainly the plumbing is all very, very similar to hot tubs and swimming pools. So I hope I've given you some food for thought in this short video. If I can help you with your cold plunge, then please do get in touch. You can hit me up in the comments. You can get in touch via buildahottub.com. Always happy to hear from you. As always, I appreciate the view. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. If you've liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video.